Roleplay Retcon does not own any parts of the movies we retcon, nor are we associated in any way with the artists who make them. Also, while we're not the rowdiest bunch, we are adults goofing off, so we might say some things some people might not want their kids to hear.
Hey, welcome to the Roleplay Retcon Rehash on the Dungeons and Dragons movie. Ben, do you want to help us out and explain to the audience what exactly a rehash is?
Okay, so at the end of each of our series, we do this like wrap party thing where we this gives us a chance to like actually talk about the original movie, and we get to like look back on what we've done and talk and like compare it to the original movie and stuff like that. We get to do like a classic movie podcast thing. It's great.
And what's extra fun about this is you three, Ben, Jency, and Kim, have just seen the movie for the first time in our last watch party about a week ago. Let's hear y'all's takes on what you thought of the movie overall.
I actually want to hear Kim's take first.
Yeah, let's hear Kim go first. As our guest. If you don't know, Kim, with us from the Nerdsmith Network and many affiliated podcasts, wonderful, wonderful person, and all-around best friend of ours.
Aw, I love you too.
Yeah.
Notary Public, maybe? I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever that means.
Yeah. Well, I felt that the way that they made this movie, that their target audience was young teenagers. That's really how I felt about it. It was not a mature movie at all.
Does it need to be?
Does it need to be? No. However, gosh, it would really be nice to have a D&D movie for grown-ups. But, I mean, it was very obviously PG, and, I don't know. I was hoping for more. I was hoping for the depth of character to be better.
A little deeper.
Yeah. But at the same time, I didn't hate it. Mm-hmm. You know? Like, I own it on Prime now for reasons.
I think we told that story, didn't we?
We have. We definitely have.
I will probably watch it again, and quite possibly with my children. You know, but it was okay. It was all right. I did not care for the character that I played.
Right. Probably the weakest part of the movie, apart from the CG.
Strongly the weakest, yeah.
I like to think that I helped with that, but
you helped immensely.
I don't know. You said except for the CG, but like I could forgive like old ass CG pretty easily. There's an excuse for that at least.
Not in a post Jurassic Park world. I cannot.
That's
7 years post.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
Well, not everybody has that budget, though. I mean,
that's true. True.
And the other thing is, I mean, you need to pick special effects that are timeless, that aren't going to age, and they didn't do that. So
yeah, and I'm kind of under the camp of if it's out of your budget, don't do it. Like, stay within your means. You can do something super cool if you have low budget. Just don't try and do something that's above your budget and have it suck really bad. Like, who's that helping?
On that point, Jency, what did you think of the movie? Let's hear that.
I thought it was okay. I'm with Kim here. Like, it was just okay. But I truly did not hate it. I did not like it, but I did not hate it. I think that's the nicest thing I've said about any movie so far.
Just about.
No, that's not true. I thoroughly enjoyed Mario.
I think you have some strong feelings about Twilight as well, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't have strong positive feelings about it.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
I think this is like pretty mid-grade. I didn't care for my character either, Ridley. I just didn't connect with him at all. And I kind of hated that he wasn't like a team player.
Right.
I honestly did like Snails though. I really did. I don't know what everyone's problem with. I thought that Snails was the best character, and I thought Marlon Wayans was the best actor, and
some people just really hate the Fool character for some reason. I've never understood the hatred for Jar Jar Binks, except maybe for the fact that he wasn't super important to the story, but I don't want to get into a whole episode 1 thing right now.
Yeah, let's stave that off for now.
Yeah. But it was not terrible, but I didn't like it.
I mean, that's fine. That's why we do these things, right? All right, Ben.
A lot of what they've already said, it covers what I've said. But like, I think you were saying you felt like the dwarf was the weakest element, but I just think characters in general across the board were the weakest element. And like Dan, and you said this like 6 months ago when we started this, that what's the most important part of Dungeons and Dragons is the characters.
I was gonna say dice.
Yeah. Well, we already went through that whole. You may not remember. We already had that bit, but I'm not sure I hated it. There was a lot of things like competently done. For instance, like as bad as the special effects were, some of the like sets and stuff and costumes were very good. Mm-hmm. I would say like the part where they meet Tom Baker, I remember saying like, oh, that's a nice little tableau once. They had this like nice shot of all the characters like framed very well. And it was nice in some ways. But like, yeah, like no, I didn't like Marina, who was supposed to be, I guess, Mervin's sort of like what Mervin was birthed from. Which is like the weirdest and grossest way to say that. But like, yeah, I didn't like the forced romance, which they had absolutely no chemistry, and I don't think I would have hated that really wasn't a team player if his arc had been he becomes a team player, which he never did. Like a flaw doesn't make any sense if it has nothing to do with the character, you know? And I think my one, I don't love high fantasy. And like that's kind of all this movie was, except it just had that like, it was trying to capture that like 80s 90s adventure movie aesthetic, and it kind of had that, but like D&D is all about like going the opposite direction of high fantasy tropes. Like you don't just have,
I don't think that's true.
Yeah.
No. You go weird. You don't. And I feel like everyone in D&D makes like...
I think that is a very personalized view of D&D that you have, but a lot of people out there that play D&D strictly go for that high fantasy kind of value.
Okay. Well, maybe that's the thing then. Maybe that like D&D is a lot of different things to a lot of different people.
Yeah, it can be.
Yeah.
I didn't hate that. Okay, my last thought here is I didn't hate the setup at all. Like that first like 10 minutes, the whole exposition, like it may not have made a great movie, but like, damn, that's a great jumping off point for a D&D campaign. It's like just enough politics and like just enough world building. And it's this exciting beginning that's like way better than like you meet a stranger in a tavern or you're in a prison cell with like 5 other adventurers. Break out now. Like it was a good setup. And like, I think you could do worse for your own D&D campaign than just using this movie setup.
Except without the completely unnecessary romance. That was so forced and so pointless.
Well, I'd be into it if it was, good. I'm
right.
I'm fine. It's not.
In this situation, it was kind of like, why?
Well,
I think you could have had a romantic element. Certainly.
When you watch the movie about 30 times in a row, like I did, in preparation for all of this, you really see where they really kind of like ham fist all those like stumble moments, like oh, I think she's pretty, like you too, what, all that stuff is there. It's not done well, but it's there throughout the entire movie.
Mm-hmm. I personally hate that trope though of like, and I know like people are going to say, well, I like that and I get that and there's nothing wrong with that, but I hate the trope of like these two people meet and they hate each other and then later they get together. That can be done well, to be fair, but like I don't think they were done hating each other when they kissed. Like,
yeah, they had literally just been yelling at each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, love and hate. Separated by a knife's edge.
No, it is not. I guess they're both passionate feelings, but like...
Hey, when it gets hot, it gets hot.
It didn't get hot.
And some like it
problem.
hot.
Yeah, some like it hot. It's a movie. They made a whole thing about it.
Yep.
Yeah. Some do like it hot.
I guess I should get on to my feelings about this movie.
Yep. Do it.
All things considered, I do love this movie. Big surprise there, I know. But I like the movie. I like just the absurd, like warehouse-sized chunks of ham that Jeremy Irons exudes. I do, even though to me it's not a great D&D story because it kind of revolves around a single character, Ridley being the chosen person. That everything it just focuses on him through all the scenes. I'm not crazy about that for a D&D movie. It makes for a good movie, but maybe not so much a D&D story. Mm-hmm. The dwarf being literally the most useless character. I think he might hit one person successfully with his axe the entire movie.
Yeah.
Every other time
with his big plastic
he's either
axe.
missing or getting frozen or just falling down.
Or eating
chicken, being scared of horses.
How many okay, horses are a little scary to be honest.
I mean,
but,
I agree.
No, they're not.
Shut up, Kim.
I mean, they're majestic, don't get me wrong.
Sure,
but
from a distance, they're wonderful. I'm
scared of whales, too. Damn it, I had a thought, and now I made a joke about whales.
Now you've ruined it.
Can you go back? What were you saying?
I
just
can't.
Before that.
Okay. And then just the CGI, I just can't. I personally can't get over it. Honestly, It's just so bad. And I think like Jency said, there are ways you could have worked around not being so heavily dependent on the CGI, but they wanted to shoehorn that in, and it's just something I can't get past. But
I remember.
But that's me.
Agreed.
I remember. How many times did they like contrive ways for everyone to have to stand outside the thing while Ridley went and did the thing?
Oh, almost every step of the way.
Yeah.
They were. It's like someone told them it's a D&D movie. You have to have a party, and someone was like, "Well, I'm going to leave him outside a lot."
But it's a hero. He got to do it.
But he's the chosen one.
Yeah, but he wasn't even like. He was the chosen one because the movie insisted he was. There was never any real reason for him to be the main character. He was the main character because he was the main character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like, it's not like Luke where he's the chosen one because he's on this like Jedi journey. He's going through the hero's journey and he has some friends that come with him. Like that wasn't this. This was just, we're the heroes too, but I guess we don't get to come this time.
You can do it, Ridley.
I mean, I get them just Ridley doing the maze by himself because he's, it's like, only one person go in. It's a certain set of, puzzles. Yeah. It's not going to be interesting for all the rest of your players.
I feel like that's a camera issue too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't get you all in this shot.
But like Ridley and Snails being the only ones going into the fortress. And the dwarf and Norda being like, no, they have to do this by themselves.
Yeah, like why?
We're not fated to go into this area because of level cap or some bullshit.
You know what? if they'd done that, I might have been more on board.
Yeah.
I guess we're not strong enough. That would have been like, I would have laughed about that and forgiven it, maybe.
And then the force field thing at the cave, that same situation. Ridley is chosen boy. He gets to go through. Everybody else stays outside to get captured very easily by Damodar.
Oh, you know what?
What?
I just thought of that too. Some of the practical effects in the movie were actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I loved like Sevril the skeleton. I thought that
Sevril was great.
The best thing, and it's just such a like, yeah, you didn't need to use a shitty CG. You were obviously okay at practical effects.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, little puppet there. I agree.
Alas.
But yeah, overall, I do like the movie. It's a lot of fun for me. I love snails.
Mm-hmm.
I don't harsh on him. A lot of the reason that people don't like snails, and I think this is part of just because of his character mostly, because this part was clearly written for Chris Tucker, a la The Fifth Element. If you've seen that, so they have a lot of the same mannerisms. They scream a lot the same, and they couldn't get Chris Tucker, obviously, so they got the cheapest Waynes they could find. A Waynes, even by cheap measures, is still a great Waynes. I love Marlon. I love all the Wayneses. Mm-hmm. But they were like, here's what Chris Tucker would have done. You do that. And I don't. A lot of people think that his character is kind of out of time with the movie, like someone in a medieval fantasy world wouldn't act like this, and I'm like, I'm fairly sure a player playing this character would act exactly like this. I have.
Mm-hmm.
I actually enjoyed the anachronism part. It like one of my favorite movies of all time, maybe my favorite movie, is A Knight's Tale.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And like that movie's good because of the anachronism.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. But yeah. So now we all know how we feel about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
How do we feel about how we did with our retcon? And this time I'm going to start reverse order with Ben.
Yeah, the big question. Did we make it better? Oh man, did we? I think so, right? And I think kind of this goes back on what I was saying, where like the setup was solid. And even like, I even want to say like the plot of the original movie, just as far as like the outline on paper, was also fine. Mm-hmm. Like as far as the quest goes, they get, the points that they get at. They rob the magic school, they get in trouble, they get the map, so on and so on. And I really like this experiment. I think we should consider doing it again sometime. Maybe not every time, but this idea of like find a movie the other people haven't done and like run through it and see, especially if what really suffers is the characters, which is what has happened here. And like, I gotta tell you guys, like, I kind of started Mervyn as a joke. Not that I wasn't taking it seriously, but I was like,
this is a comedy podcast. It's got to be funny.
Well, and also I genuinely believe this in they announce as a new movie. And I think there's also a TV series that's going to happen on like Netflix or something. Mm-hmm. And like one of the characters should have a dumbass name like Mervyn, because that's what a player would do. But then like I really started loving Mervyn, and like I'm going to miss Mervyn so much.
Aww.
I'm just gonna pat myself on the back. I liked his arc. I liked the whole like, and I love how he interacted, and like how the character of Mervyn depends so much on your guys' characters too. Mm-hmm. That this idea of like, I really hated that Marina was like classist. I liked more like Mervyn being this like neoliberal thing where he like doesn't call people commoners. He doesn't call people peasants, but probably on some level he does think he's better than them. And then like this like privileged guy like being cast out into the streets and having to like depend on like thieves to survive, and this like he's this like nerd that's never really had friends, and now he's got friends, and that like that like radicalizes him. I don't know. I thought that was a good arc. And I thought I liked the arc of I liked like Ridley instead of being this like hot shot lone wolf guy, which was kind of a boring character. I loved them being this like positive person, and like I love that you played them as like kind of simple and naive. They were like naive and like world-wise at the same time in a lot of ways.
Kind way of putting that.
Without it being like, well, they weren't stupid.
I didn't.
I don't think. I love that Ridley's really like you accidentally took the opposite approach from the movie, where Ridley like believes in friendship, that friendship was their like weapon. And I like that Elwood was Elwood was such a like boring character. Yeah. I honestly thought the actor was a little bit funny. I think everyone else was cringing, but I was like, I kind of like his slapstick, but it doesn't make for a character. I like this, like, like you kind of went the same direction I did, Kim, where I felt like we were both like people looking for a friend, and then we found the friendliest friend of all time.
Yes, that's a really good way to describe it. Yes, 100%.
And like, I don't hate the idea of there being a main character. It's just that they have to have their own arcs as well.
Yes.
You have to give them at least some strong, like the supporting characters have to have their own strong plots, their own strong character arcs too. That being said, I want to ask you guys a question before we get on to like how you guys feel.
Okay.
If you had
Pumpernickel.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I like dark rye, but it's very similar. If you had to pick who the main character of this story is, who would you say it is? Like of ours, not.
I'm going to say movie. Mervyn.
Yeah, I think I would also say probably Mervyn.
But so that's interesting because I was playing it like Ridley was the main character.
Interesting.
Like I was supporting Ridley. And so even still in my mind, Ridley is the main character. And I was invested in making sure I have my own arc, but But like I think this is one of our better. A lot of times I'll like question, we'll get to this point and I'll be like, did we do better? And like up until this point, I've always kind of been like, I think we did a good job. I don't know if we actually did better.
Yeah.
I think this time, like, we immensely improved this.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pat us on the back. All right, that's my long-winded answer.
Nice.
All right, next in the order is Jincy.
Yay, it's my turn. Yeah, I'm going to say if putting this in an individualistic, selfish kind of way, I had more fun playing this than I had fun watching the movie. So for that alone, I'm going to say we did better. Just because I had more fun. I enjoyed it more.
Nice.
And yeah, I feel like I'm just going to say a lot of the same things Ben said. I think we improved our characters a lot. I think that Alex did a great job like sticking to the original story, but improving it in every way. And I really, truly think that we did a better job. And if we had had the same budget that they had, we would have made a better movie.
Yeah, right? Like a lot of times you're like, it's easy for us to do better here with like hindsight and stuff, but I genuinely believe the four of us could have made a better Dungeons & Dragons movie even if we'd never seen the other one.
And we didn't even have like the hindsight really, because we didn't watch the movie first and then
That's true.
And then try and get better than it. We just like were ourselves and played our characters the way we wanted to play them. And sure, Alex had seen it, and so he was trying to guide us and stick to the original plot, but even not seeing the movie originally, I feel like we did a great job.
Yeah. Cool.
And I never say that. So
never ever.
Yeah, no.
Kim.
Hi.
Get it.
So somehow my cat was let into the room.
Nice. What do they think about it?
People listening at home, if you hear a cat, I'm sorry. So I absolutely 100% agree with Ben and Jency. I think we dramatically improved on the story and the characters. Goodness, what was that? I like the way that we moved through the story.
Mm-hmm.
I like the things that you added to the plot, Alex. I love how you picked up and ran with the crazy things that we threw at you, like man in stocks.
Oh, man in stocks.
Yeah, that worked out really well.
We talked about Man in Stocks in the watch party, but you might need to let's pause and tell this story.
So, Man in Stocks. Obviously, you might have listened to the podcast. You know what happened with Man in Stocks. In the movie, when they get to this bazaar at Antius City, there's just a guy in a stockade just screaming out to nothing. I didn't do it. I didn't do it. That's all he is. That's it. I just put him in there as just like set dressing. He was just there, and then they're like, that's a guy who knows what he's talking about, and he did not do it. And so I'm like, oh, well, let me just create a name for Mr. Stockman, which would have been a better name for him.
Baxter Stockman.
Baxter Stockman. He's a fly on the wall, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
it was perfect.
What were we supposed to do? Like, were you going to do what we did in the movie, where there was just going to be that, what was he called, a hyphen?
So I replaced the hyphen with the gnome character that Ridley ran into.
Completely fucked up.
Yeah, a little bit.
Thanks.
But I kept Baxter Stockman.
Yes.
What did we call it? He was Bartleby or something.
You called him like 4 different names.
Right.
It wasn't Bartleby. It was Bartleby, but it was funny, like Bartleby or something.
Yeah.
Binklepuss.
Yeah.
Oh, it was
I don't like that at all.
No, that was terrible. But
well, I kept Binklepuss in there, and everything worked out.
Yeah, you did a great job of rolling with our punches and making it work. And I think that everything that we did, it really dramatically improved on the original. The dungeon itself, that was a huge improvement. It was fun. The traps and the dungeon itself was fun in the original movie. I'll give them that.
Mm-hmm.
But Alex, what you came up with, gosh, that was a lot more fun.
Yeah, well, we do what we can.
Oh,
yeah,
also, just a short interjection. While we're talking about things that Alex improved on, Alex made snails better, and I really liked snails in the movie. But I didn't even cry when he died. So
yeah.
Sorry, continue.
Marlon Wayans was funny and charismatic, but like the character wasn't anything great.
Agreed completely. He was
I will circle back to that on my turn.
Sorry.
I mean, he did an amazing job with what he was given. There's no question. But Alex, I completely agree with Jency. You made snails lovable and a lot more personable. Mm-hmm. It worked out really well.
Well, thank you both.
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
It's your turn, Alex.
Oh boy, it's my turn.
I know, right?
Well, I'm gonna go against the grain here.
Oh.
And I'm going to say that we did all right as compared to the other movie. I don't think we greatly improved it, but I think most of that's on me. I don't think I changed enough from it, personally. The things that I did fix were I think they were okay, what I did. But I mean, that was all part of the experiment. Like, could I guide you through this movie without you having seen it, keep it as close to the movie as I could plot wise, and improve it? And I thought it probably just came out about the same, which I don't know how I could have reached any other conclusion doing exactly what I did.
Can I jump in on that for a second? Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think you're blaming yourself.
Maybe.
Yeah,
I blame D&D. Go ahead, but Jinsei, I want you to say something nice about Alex.
I don't know. I think Alex.
They've done nothing but saying nice things about me.
Because you deserve it, Alex. Because I think that I disagree with Ben. I think that this isn't even D&D's fault. I think that right now what's happening is that Alex isn't giving himself enough credit because he doesn't have a high enough self-image of himself.
I might also just be saying stuff to be contrarian to you guys, so
perhaps that is also the case. But you deserve to have a very high self-image of yourself because you're amazing.
Agreed.
But we have been like super complimentary like of ourselves. Maybe we should take a second to talk about the stuff that like maybe we felt like we could have done a little better.
Like, I personally think I could have done better with Snails as a character. To me, Snails felt very flat. Mostly because I was just playing me and doing my very best not to overstep those boundaries.
Okay.
Yeah,
if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I think that worked out.
Being an NPC.
Yeah.
And you did very well with that.
Like you're saying you felt like you might have like reined yourself in too much?
Maybe a little bit, and also I forgot he was there half the time.
Well,
which is something I'm very bad at.
Him, didn't we?
I'm very bad at with my NPCs, especially that follow the characters around. I'm like, I'm just gonna let you guys do your thing, and like I'll forget that they're even a part of it. Like, there was a part during the finale where I just forgot taking Norda's turns, and I'm like, so Norda should be taking turns and like throwing arrows into Damodar, but I don't want that to happen, so I'm just gonna forget about Norda and just push her over to the side. But yeah, just things. I think we did a good job. I think you guys did a wonderful job with your characters. You've vastly improved every one of them, especially Elwood.
Mm-hmm.
Elwyn was a vast improvement.
Agreed.
Mervyn was a much better version of Marina than she was, because she didn't use any magic hardly. I think she throws a total of like 3 spells during the movie.
Yeah.
And Ridley was great. Your version of Ridley was amazing.
Thank you.
I agree.
Of course.
That was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
It was. My biggest regret is letting Charlie into the regret is letting Charlie into the episode and letting him take Profian, because I really wanted to do that accent.
Aww.
I really wanted to try out the Jeremy Irons, but I was like, I just can't have 5 scenes of me talking to myself. This is going to be awful. So I was like, I'm gonna get Charlie in here, and Charlie did amazing, and Haley did amazing as the princess.
Yeah, I actually. Charlie did so good in those pre-recorded scenes, but at least one person, maybe a couple, have been like, "Who's this 5th person?"
Yeah,
who's this 5th person?
We did not explain what was going on there well enough at all.
I think maybe they just forgot by the time it got, because it's been so long since Charlie's been back in an episode. Because we didn't. That's another thing. I didn't make a lot of things clear about Profian being the bad guy. To the characters themselves,
the movie kind of didn't.
The movie,
Profian was like not part. I mean, I guess he was the puppet string puller, but like I never cared about him. Like, he was never there doing bad things.
Mm-hmm. I also think I should have put in the city destruction scene a little bit more with Profian just hamming it up and doing like the get the Empress, bring her down, fire the crossbows.
Was that your Jeremy Irons accent?
That is my Jeremy Irons.
Beautiful.
Sounds just like him.
Jeremy Irons played by Ray Romano.
Get him, Deborah.
How dare you cast that? How dare you cast that now? Man, I
it was not
Ray Romano play a villain.
Oh my gosh, that would be so cool though.
Jency, that'll be a save for your next series.
Okay. For my next
right.
series.
Your next series.
Oh gosh. What a good idea. Bring Ray Romano in.
Which we'll reveal in our next episode. Our writer's room.
Yes.
Okay.
And definitely not live in front of all
Yes.
people.
Someone did.
Oh yeah. Hey, if you were at our last watch party and you heard me accidentally slip, like maybe just keep it under your hat, okay?
Just please, as a favor to Ben.
I still feel pretty bad about that. Okay. Let me rag on Dungeons and Dragons. God, please, just
No.
for like a minute,
No.
please.
They're sponsoring this episode. We can't.
They better fucking not be.
They better fucking.
Okay, listen.
Wait, but
Get
like
Vinny
seriously.
fucking-
I vote for yes, Alex. Let him have a minute.
No, yeah. Go ahead. Please.
I just to peek behind the curtain and to like kind of maybe not paint me in a great light. I got frustrated at one point while we were doing this. Like during the dungeon, the Thieves Guild dungeon, I thought it was going too slow. And then like everyone had to be like, Ben, it's Alex's series, and I'm like, I'm also kind of a control freak, so I had to be like, yeah, I'm just being a control freak. And then like I thought about it, and I realized that like Alex was doing everything he was supposed to. Alex ran a top tier AAA game of Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
And it was
Disagree.
such a fun game of Dungeons and Dragons. But I've kind of come to the conclusion that Dungeons and Dragons like is a really fun game, but maybe not all that great as a storytelling tool. Like, I used to think differently, but like having been on this podcast and play with all these other systems at this point, like I think it often like worked against us.
Yeah.
I think
But-
that a lot of that might be my fault though, because
No, it's not. It's not. It's Dungeons and Dragons' fault.
I get bogged down in doing mechanics and things of that nature and doing things so. I mean, I bend the rules a lot. No, stop. Sorry, cat. I bend the rules a lot, especially during with players being involved. I let them do things that are outside of the rules. I fudge a lot of dice rolls, which honestly, for this series, I didn't fudge a lot of my dice rolls, and you guys kept like almost dying.
Hell yeah, we did.
Yep.
Especially in that thing.
In the maze,
Like,
that was so good. That was such a great scene. I loved it. And that 20
Me and
was
Sup-
just amazing. And anyway, go on.
it was great. It was wonderful.
Yeah, but should we tell them about the eyeball part where we did actually TPK and you were like, all right, well we can't do that.
Yeah, in the iPod hallway with the fire, people died, and I was like,
Everyone
well, I just can't kill my heroes, so we're just gonna fudge those rolls, get them on out of here.
He was just too good for us.
Yeah.
D&D
But I-
is it's a combat game. It really is. And after playing in Chaotic Goodness and using Powered by the Apocalypse and What's Old is New, they are Powered by the Apocalypse is 100% a storytelling game. Period. End of story. No matter which variation on the theme it is. With What's Old is New, there's a heck of a lot of crunch, and you can make it a combat game. But it's also really good for storytelling, and playing in that world for so long, and then coming back to D&D was almost painful, because it's so heavily focused on combat and crunch, and
It is.
so I agree with you quite a bit, Ben, actually. I do
Don't
enjoy
stop,
a
Kim.
D&D.
Stop. His head's getting too big for the podcast, Kim. Stop.
No,
quit
that's
it.
the power.
Find the release valve, Jency.
Ah!
I have to vent my ego in spurts. Yeah,
but I love playing D&D. However, I much prefer a storytelling game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of my favorite Twitter accounts, it's called Oregon Roll to 20.
Yes, agreed. 100%.
Yeah, right. One time, one of their tweets recently, it says, Dungeons and Dragons is not a fine wine. It is a deep fried Oreos at a fair. And like, I think that's like such a good way to say it. Like,
I love deep fried Oreos so much.
yeah, that's what they're saying. Is like,
Yeah.
It's good. It's not refined.
It's good for what it is. If you go into D&D expecting it to be what it isn't, you'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, because of this whole resurgence of role-playing games and how it's like cool now, a lot of people are like, oh, we have to play D&D, but you don't have to. I mean, it's a great game, it's a great system, whatever, but there's so many other systems out there that it's worth exploring, and that's one of the things I love about what y'all are doing is that you're exploring all of these different systems.
Aww.
And I'm hoping that your listeners are being encouraged to try
Definitely.
other than D&D.
Yes. Thank you.
Definitely.
It's worth it. It's worth trying to find the system that fits how you want to play.
Okay.
I agree. And like, yeah, a lot of things that you guys saying are 100% true. But I don't know, man. At the end of the day, I just love D&D. It's what I cut my teeth on growing up, and
I love it
stuff,
too.
and it's just,
don't get me wrong. I love it. I play it weekly.
and like, if I believe we said something about this in the rookie camp at the beginning of this series, there was a moment. Actually, there were several moments when I considered doing this series not in Dungeons and Dragons but in Pathfinder.
Oh, I wanted you to so bad. That would have
just because
so
I thought
fun.
that would have been funny.
That would have been.
But
It would have been funny.
Hilarious.
I didn't have the cojones to follow through with it because I'd have to go, and I know Pathfinder is basically just 3.5 Dungeons and Dragons, which is what I grew up with, but I don't have any of the materials for it. And I just like D&D.
I wish you could have
Shrug.
even done, that you'd even done 3.5, but like you were like, 5E's the crowd pleaser, and also like I guess you figured that we kind of knew how to play 5E.
Well, I mean, 5E's got some problems. There's a reason that it's dead. Because this is a whole conversation for another thing, but
Okay.
they modded it to hell. To a point where they made these separate additional classes that made prestige classes from the original set obsolete. So there's just like this whole crazy thing, and they had these weird races, and it's just a big old mess by the end of 5E's tenure. And then that led to the mess of 4th edition, which everyone hated. But enough of us waxing poetical about Dungeons and Dragons.
Never. It's never enough.
Never enough.
Wait. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I have one more thing because I said way back when that I would talk about this in Rehash. I have to talk about Buggleby Bramblebutt.
Oh, yeah.
That you just like you seemingly randomly named that goblin Buggleby Bramblebutt, which like, by the way, how the fuck were there not goblins in the like original movie?
I know, right? That's why I put one in there.
They would have had to design them and use CGI or makeup and didn't have the budget for it.
Just like those.
Yes.
Those
They had enough for those
orcs they had
ugly
in
ass
there.
And the
or the
terrible
ugly ass
dragon blood that
beholders.
made me want to cry.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway,
But,
like, go on, Ben.
Buggleby Bramblebutt is from a like D&D campaign that was like a personal one that like Alex and I were, that I was DMing and that Alex was in. And like Alex's character was this like hitman style, like Agent 47 style goblin named Cassius Thorne. And like the setting was, it was like a wacky races thing. Like everyone were on these like giant vehicles that were racing across this continent, and like at the end of each race, they would like have an adventure in the place that they were staying for a while between the races, like Tour de France style. And like, so Alex's character like murders the person that was
the characters needed to have an invitation to this particular event. They were putting together a monster team, like an all monster team. Like it was a weird like wild card racer that was going to be in the thing. So every character needed to have a invitation. So Cassius Thorne was contacted through a mysterious benefactor that we met later down the road to assassinate this goblin acrobat named Buggleby Bramblebutt, impersonate him, and take his place in the race. And so Cassius was like this very posh goblin who was raised by gnomes and then kind of just like left to his own devices. He kind of like worked in the upper echelon of like criminals, I guess, becoming a hitman for hire. And Buggleby was the exact opposite of that. He was just this complete dullard, just like crazy talented acrobat who just like was famous at this goblin circuses that got a ticket to go on this thing. So I had to play Cassius playing Buggleby. It was a whole lot of fun.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was great.
I'll just always love that character.
It was a great character. I wish I was still playing him, honestly.
We might get to it one day. I think we should move into audience retcons. What do you think?
I was about to do that anyways.
I'm down.
Well, do you want to say it?
No.
I could just cut you. Okay. Let me start with the first one. Oh, by the way, I should explain. Every time we do one of these, we get our audience to send us submissions for how they would like improve the movie or maybe how they thought we did. And our first one is from Ian Fisher. And he says, I was sad that I cannot lie was not used with Elwyn and her big axe.
That was so funny.
I kind of have to agree. I think you had a lot of opportunity to do it, and that you didn't even do it once is insane.
I'm sorry.
It
didn't occur to me. I was trying to be serious. Sometimes.
I think I even said it at one point, like under my breath, and I don't think it ended up in the situation.
Probably was. I probably was like, I don't know what he's saying there. And like,
yeah.
So
clipped it away.
It's Ben's fault. Excuse me.
Oh, Jency, you found that valve. Good. Thanks.
Yay.
Kim, read the next one.
So we're on roll to roll. And this is all right, instead of Marlon Wayans, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Nothing else changes.
Perfect.
That I can't even imagine. That would be hilarious. No. Like the Arnold
all right.
accents.
So
that would be great.
I will see your suggestion there, roll to roll, and trade you Arnold Schwarzenegger instead takes place of the dwarf and leave Marlon Wayans.
But still Elwyn?
Yes. Or Elwood.
Yeah, but like Arnold Schwarzenegger is at his best when he's playing a huge beefy dude who's super gentle and like is like kind of squeamish. And
just make that the dwarf character.
Had it occurred to me,
okay.
I gladly would have done that. I would have done my Arnold all the time.
Perfect.
You know, I would
all
have
right.
done that.
Scrap it. We're going back to episode 1. Kim, you're doing that from this point forward.
Yeah. We'll just edit it in post. Yeah,
we're doing it again. One more again.
Come and do some reshoots.
Perfect.
Totally would have. Absolutely.
All right, Alex, you do the next one because Jinsei needs to do the one after that one.
All right. Well, we'll do this for Jason Danger.
Yeah.
I can't pronounce that name at Kerchung.
Kerchung.
Yeah. I think you could just do Jason Danger.
Jason Danger, you know who you
Do
are.
the sound effect. It's great. Kerchung.
He does a lot of different podcasts. He has one of them, particularly, I cannot remember the name of it, which is not great, but they do. They go through like choose your own adventure books, which is pretty great. They do like actual play choose your own adventure books, which is a very good idea.
So Ben's got this bit circled, but I'm just going to go ahead and just read the whole thing.
Yeah, just read the whole thing.
Roleplay retcon. Yes, after Super Mario Brothers, all of Alex's NPC voices now sound like Mario. Sorry, not sorry, but kind of sorry? ? Yes, Mario destroyed me.
Aww.
Mario, and I think he posted this. I think after going as far as like episode 6 of the Dungeons and Dragons. So
I think
I
by now probably.
I think I got out of that by the end of the Dungeons and Dragons. Hopefully,
you only did it a couple of times.
I slipped back in there once or twice, but I steered that ship back in the direction it needed to be. Hopefully, but also Ben, he's
reading again. By the way,
yeah, I'm reading once again. Not feeling the J.K. Corden, but maybe feeling a little Ricky Gervais. Anyway, we shall see how this pans out. This referring to Ben's portrayal of Mervyn.
Yeah.
Casting
him as James Corden was like the biggest mistake I've ever made on this podcast.
Maybe, yeah.
Ricky would have been so amazing.
I don't much care for Ricky Gervais, like on a personal level, but he would have been a good acting choice, yes.
Yeah.
But like I think I just thought like James Corden would be good because he is like a fat guy, and like I wanted him to have like this sort of posh British accent. But James Corden is an awful actor. He's just bad in every movie he's in.
But
and
he's
like
so
I guess he's probably a pretty okay, like he's probably a pretty fun dude, and he's like probably a pretty good like late night host. He's not a good actor.
Okay, I'm gonna disagree with you like seriously hardcore when it comes to Doctor Who. Have you seen him in Doctor Who?
Well, I don't really like Doctor Who either, so there's that.
We can't
I tried.
be friends
Listen,
anymore,
I tried.
Ben.
I tried.
We thank you all for.
It's over, Ben.
I didn't even know he was in it.
Yes,
honestly.
yes. Oh my gosh, yes, he is. He's in it with 11, and he's fantastic.
I don't know who that is.
Okay.
Oh, you mean the 11th Doctor?
Yes,
okay, I do get what you mean.
And Stormageddon, Dark Lord of All. But anyway, he's amazing in here. Amazing.
I watched all the David Tennant stuff, and I still didn't like it. So if I didn't like it then, I was never going to like it.
Fine.
I tried so hard.
Fine.
It's a good show that I just don't like.
Okay, we can still be friends. I can accept your wrongness.
Jency, quick, steer us out of this car crash.
Yes, it's my turn. So the one that I am going to read is from Emily Elizabeth Lewis. She says, okay, so this is what she would do as a Dungeons and Dragons movie. So this is not in response to what we did. This will be her take. So she said, the frame story is a bunch of like 13 to 15-year-olds playing the game. The cool 14-year-old DM is the narrator. The movie cuts to them regularly a la Princess Bride. For example, the wizard's spell backfires and hits the team. Cut to Becky cursing her dice and the other players mathing out how many points they lost. There's probably like a running gag that Carlos, who plays the tank, somehow always still has 100 HP, so his character is always fine and still looks perfectly suave after every battle when the rest of the party is limping along. During one really climactic battle scene, there's an abrupt cutaway because Arden's mom called, and they have to talk to her, and Arden's mom talks for forever, so everyone else is just like chatting about school or something while waiting on them. Just for fun, in the bonus features, there's a version where you can switch the audio track to the kids voice acting their characters like it's drunk history. Carlos's fighter just sounds like Carlos, but Becky's old lady wizard voice is perfection. I love that. They should have done that movie.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Maybe they will.
Perhaps.
Right. I think I've been flip-flopping about like whether that's the best way to go or not. I don't think they should do that for this like Chris Pine movie that's coming out. They should absolutely do that for the TV show.
Oh, yes. Next.
I'm gonna do the next one.
Okay.
Do the next one, Ben.
This is from Ben.
Not you.
This is from I'm getting to it. This is from Alex's brother, Ben Blasius, whom I will consume his Benergy one day. But for now, he says, more letting the party act as opposed to just Ridley. More magic. A better hook for Elwood to enter the party, and he says we did great on all those points.
Aww.
So
Thanks, Ben.
Such a lovely boy.
Not you, Ben. Other Ben.
Thank you, Ben.
You didn't have to say not me.
Not Ben. All right, this next one from Stacy. Release the Crackus on the Twitters. Richard O'Brien could have flirted with everyone, just like Alex did. That is true.
Yeah. See, that's a part where you didn't hold yourself back, and it went better.
Yeah, I know. God, I love playing him. Well, if you're not in the know, that Xylus was played by Richard O'Brien in the movie. Who, if you don't know who that is, shame on you. Probably the biggest thing we'd know him from over here in the States is the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He played Riff Raff.
And fucking wrote. He made it. He made Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That too. But yeah, this is a great character. I debated on just doing his character flat from the movie, but I went with my weird Foghorn Leghorn character instead.
You're great.
But it didn't really start out that way. You got there eventually.
Yeah, I got there eventually. It was like, let me just do him Southern, and it was just like, well, just kind of floated on in there, didn't it? Kim, hit us with this next one.
Yeah,
sure thing. So this one is from Matthew. Matthew's a friend of mine over at Nerdsmith. And
Nerdsmith.
Nerdsmith. What's what? So he says, first suggestion, make it gayer. D&D needs big gay energy.
Yeah.
Thank you,
That's
Matthew.
right.
I could not agree more. And honestly, I think we did a really good job of that.
I think we got there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Everything needs to be gayer all the time.
Completely agree.
Somebody's gunning for Franz's seat, huh?
Yeah, didn't
taken. Yeah, Franz was usually our make it gayer, but I didn't get a make it gayer from Franz this time.
I know.
Franz let us down.
Franz input. That's it. I am officially now the #1 fan. I've taken over the spot.
Kim's on your throne, Franz.
Take that.
Better come knock her off.
Franz just immediately comes barreling in from nowhere.
Yeah,
just through a wall.
He's like, I felt something terrible happening.
Disturbance in the force.
I felt the disturbance in the force.
That's right.
Nice.
I have the high ground, Franz.
This last one is from our friend Ryan, who says this movie
Yellow
has
hat.
strong CD-ROM interactive movie aesthetic, which it absolutely did.
It really did. Honestly, so this particular DVD, it gave me a problem every time I put it into my computer because of the interactive DVD shit that it would do. It kept wanting to be like, do you want to play the little game that comes with it? And I was like, no, fucking CD. I want to watch the damn movie 12 times. And then I will admit, this is pretty cool. So when you go to the special features, it sets up the dungeon scene, the maze scene from the movie, and it'll have the little swinging pendulums, and it has you 3 items to use to get through this, this trap. So you have to pick the bone to throw across like Ridley does in the movie, yada yada yada. And then it'll go to the eyeball scene, you pick the sword, and then you pick the hourglass, and then you can get to the special features. I thought that was pretty cool.
Honestly, streaming, that's like the one thing I miss. It's like cool DVDs.
Yeah.
Okay, so what happens if you pick the wrong one though? We didn't actually do that. Do you just not get to watch the deleted scenes?
No, it just like flashes red, then lets you pick again.
Oh,
You die. You die
Yeah.
In real life.
If you die in the DVD, you die in real life.
that makes sense. Seems legit.
But that's all of our audience suggestions. I just want to take another moment to once again thank Kim for joining us in this series.
You're very welcome, and
Yes,
I
thank you,
enjoyed
Kim.
every moment of it, and I hope you invite me back in the future because I love y'all so much.
Yay!
100%. You know
Kim,
it.
do you have anything brewing? Kim, got anything in the works
I
that
do.
you can talk about?
There are 2 things brewing.
Ooh.
We are at Nerdsmith. We are in the process of building a backlog of episodes for a Vampire the Masquerade podcast.
Nice.
Yes. Undefined release date for that. And I am also in the very early beginning stages of creating a new space opera podcast, also using the
yes.
What's Oldest New system.
Nice.
Yes.
I really miss chaotic goodness, and I'm craving that style of play. So we're going to, I'm going to take my share of the concept and roll with it, and I'm really looking forward to that. Really, really
I'm
looking forward to it.
100% there for
Yay.
this.
Excellent. Thank you. Yeah, and that's super
and you know-
early. We're in the like, practice game phase. So
Yeah.
Nice. If you need special guest characters, you know who to come get.
yes, and I will. I will remember
Good.
that. I certainly will. I do plan on having a lot of guest spots, actually, because that was one of my favorite things that we did was having guests come in as NPCs. It's so much fun,
Nice.
I did love that about chaotic goodness, and I was really looking forward to getting on there. It never lined up for me, unfortunately.
We'll get there. We'll get there. This one is going to be called Destiny Bound.
Good.
Nice. And it will heavily feature time travel.
I like it.
We are using Morris's What's Old is New system, which really does lend itself to time travel. It has the old, the now, and the new different aspects of the system that are very much interchangeable. So all of the characters that we currently have on our time traveling vessel are from all of the different time periods.
Ooh,
So what
nice.
you're telling me is you're doing a space opera meets Billin's Head.
Kind of, but a little bit more exaggerated than that because I have a
Fantastic.
druid and an ogre on my ship, as well
I like
as
it.
Yeah.
I like it.
as well as an AI and a mousekin, and it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Nice.
Listen. I like it. I love it. I want some more of it.
Yes, thank you.
Oh,
Yeah,
Ben.
you'll be at the top of the list for when we start having guest spots. And
Nice.
Ben and Jency, if you want in, you just have to let me know.
Aw, thank you.
Because that would be amazing.
Yeah. That would be amazing.
all right, Ben.
Yeah, let me thank Miyu one last time.
No,
Thank
I
you,
want you
Miyu.
to do the thing under that.
Oh, okay.
No, okay, go ahead and do that.
Thank you, Miyu, one last time. Thank you, Miyu, one last time for letting us use your music.
It was good.
It was
in
really
this
good.
Podcast.
Let me tell you guys, when this whole thing was kicking off and we were discussing music, Ben wanted to put some like bullshit on here. I don't even remember what it was, but it was like
It was the creators of my favorite song of all time, but I won't get into that right now.
I'm sure, but like he wanted to put some stuff like with some heavy lyrical stuff, and I'm like, nah, Ben, nah, you're going the wrong direction. I just want some instrumental, just goodness, some tones, some sweet tones, and Ben delivered with Me You. There was nothing better for this series.
Nice, it was.
Actually, Me You will probably continue to be featured in the podcast because one of the reasons I picked him was we've used a song of his in every series. It's like an Easter egg, and so I'd like to keep doing that. So,
Nice.
Yes, I like it.
Did you want me to do the next thing too? Or
No, I
is that a
want
joke?
Jincy to do the next thing.
Okay. So the next thing is to talk about our writer's room. So
Writer's room.
after every long series like this, we always do a little bitty one episode writer's room where we just take a movie and talk about how bad it is and what we could do better if we were to do
A movie we can't conceivably wrap a role-playing game around.
Right.
Although we talked about it, and then
We tried with this one. I just there was no way I could get us there.
Yeah.
well,
So-
you can say what it is. It's
Yeah. So, the one, well, I was getting there, sorry. So, the one that
sorry.
we are doing, and it comes out in 2 weeks, is Showgirls. And if you've ever watched Showgirls, I'm
Ooh.
so sorry. And if you've never watched it, I don't recommend it. But our friend Stacy, who also gave us one of our fan submissions for this episode, Stacy, Release the Kraken. Release the Krakus? Release the Kraken.
Yes, release the Krakus.
Yes. Stacy, she's doing it with us because she loves it and she has worked in the movie industry. So she has got like a lot of really good insight into that. Specifically, she worked for Troma. So yeah.
Yeah.
I recommend listening to it, but like I said, I wouldn't watch the movie if I were you.
maybe you could just watch like the trailer or something.
I guarantee you most of our listeners probably know of Showgirls if they haven't directly seen it or not. But yeah, it's
I knew
It's-
nothing about it
Yeah,
except that Kyle MacLachlan was in it.
yeah.
I had also.
Well, I mean that's something.
Yeah, fair enough. But I'm just saying I was unprepared.
Yeah.
But yeah, as a further little bit about Stacy, she does a podcast, the Drunk Girls.
Yes.
That's not
That's
what it's
not what
called.
it's
That's not what it is. Ben, cut this.
Isn't it Drunk Geek Girl?
Drunk Geek Girl podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Drunk Geek Girl podcast.
That she's revitalizing right now. That she and some friends were doing it out in California, but when she moved back, things got a little bit rocky. But they're gonna revamp that, and we're super excited to have her do the rehash or the writers' room with us. Mm-hmm. And Ben, when is that writers' room going to take place?
Well, I was gonna let Jincy's 2 weeks ride, but let me look at the calendar. So what is today in the future? Is it the 3rd, February 3rd? So I think it comes out. Oh, it comes out my birthday. That's right.
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Weird.
So February 17th. I should say what it is and not expect everyone that's listening to this to know what my birthday is.
Yes,
Well, now we do.
because I didn't know.
Hooray.
February 17th. And we'll announce our next series in the writer's room.
Yeah,
so you kind
we
of have
will.
to listen to it.
Unless you want to be a square.
And don't listen to Huey Lewis. It is not hip to be square.
Yeah, he's a liar.
He's a liar.
But I mean, are you telling me that Huey Lewis is not my Sledgehammer?
No. And he is not giving you the news. Yeah, that's not him anyway. That's how many times are we gonna misappropriate songs by Peter Gabriel in this podcast?
It is 2.
No, it's not.
It's no. Sledgehammer
It is
is by
two.
Sledgehammer is
Sorry,
famously by
Alex.
Peter Gabriel.
No.
I'm looking that up
No.
right now.
Nope.
But he's not. But Huey Lewis is not giving you the news. It's not hip to be square.
Nope. Sledgehammer is not. Huey
So
Lewis.
Sledgehammer was done by a band called Peter Gabriel, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
It's just the one guy. Actually.
Who it says here was the drummer for Huey Lewis and the News.
What? Are you making that up?
Yeah, I don't believe you even a little bit. He doesn't play the drums. He didn't even play the drums in Genesis.
Yeah, what did he do in Genesis before he sang?
He was the lead singer.
No,
Yeah.
Before he was the lead singer.
You're hurting my brain now. You're saying things that are not right in any way.
Peter Gabriel was the lead singer in Genesis until he left, and then Phil Collins took over.
Oh, I thought Phil Collins was first, and then it was Peter Gabriel. I got it backward.
Anyway, thanks to Nerdsmith for having us on their network. Please check them out. There's lots of great podcasts and streams.
Nerdsmith.
And we'll see you on my birthday.
Yay!
That's right. Remember, that is June 27th.
It's February 17th.
Oh, okay.
I'm an Aquarius.
Which is an
Stupid
air sign. Did you know that,
Yeah, I
Ben?
did not know that. No one is going to understand that, Jency.
Everyone understands astrology. Come on.
What are you
No one's
talking
going to
about?
understand why you're calling me out, though.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just mean.
For those who
They
didn't
don't
know, Ben
anything.
didn't know it was an air sign.
I guess that is all there is to the
Yeah,
story.
he thought
That-
it was
that's
a water
basically it.
sign, which I thought was adorable, but
It makes sense that it's a water sign. It's Aquarius.
It's so dumb that it should be the quintessential water sign.
It's a lady with a friggin' jug. She's pouring out water. Bye, Craig.
It says aqua.
yeah. Yeah. Anywho.
Anyways,
Okay. Yeah.
we're out. Thank you for
Yeah.
joining us on this roller coaster of an episode.
Yeah, thanks.
And series, for that matter.
And series. Our longest to date so far.
Oh,
We'll see if I can beat it next time.
nice.
Nice.
All right.
All right.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everybody. Bye, kisses. Bye, kisses.